Well, guys, I've been picking a lot of dimple locks lately, and a lot of you are asking about where to get a good kit, and then the word cheap always seems to be added onto that. And unfortunately, there are no cheap kits out there. Their dimple picks, honestly, are quite difficult to find. I reviewed this one a while back. This is the Spooks kit, sells at the Spooks website, and he does really good work on these. These are made from a foundation kit, which is the Goso. He tells you that on the website. He spends an awful lot of time shaping these, thinning out the shafts, shaping those tips to put them into usable condition. He added these nice rubber handles to them and then puts a label on there basically to tell us which way that flag is turned. I think we can figure that out for ourselves. $150 versus, again, on the same website, he sells this for 32 euros. And in the US, I got this on Amazon Prime for $29.99, the Goso, and I don't know how many kits are there, but they only sell one, the Goso Dimple kit. These things look nothing like the Spooks kit. These things are really, really rough looking. You can see all very sharp edges. I don't know if you can hear this, but it's like a saw blade. So they're much thicker than the Spooks kit. So out of the box, $29, $30, these are not really usable. They're going to take a lot of work, but they are only $30 as versus $150. So for those of you who are like me, I don't have a lot of money, but I might have some time. If I put some time into this, maybe I can turn it into a $150 kit. I'm going to pick out what picks I need, and we're going to go through and we're going to shape these things and just get an estimate. So what do we need? We don't need a lot, surprisingly. You don't need any power tools. You're basically going to need a needle file, and these sell in Home Depot for about $1 a piece. They're basically disposable. You won't need more than one. And then you'll need some coarse sandpaper, and I'm using 220. You need some medium sandpaper. I got some 400. And then you got some fine sandpaper for that final shaping and semi-polishing, and I've got some 600. So let's go to the workbench and get started. See how long this takes. All right, guys, the first thing you want to do to make your job go much faster is get your sandpaper, and we're not going to try to use it at a whole sheet. Instead, get yourself a pair of scissors and basically cut it into strips. Just cut it roughly 1-inch wide strips, just like that. I don't measure them. I don't mark it out. I just cut them. This is not rocket science. So cut yourself some of your 220, 400, and 600, and then we'll move to the next step. Well, guys, one of the first things you can do to reduce the amount of time is start thinning out these picks. I think there were 14 in this kit. You do not need all of them. So immediately take out the ones that look kind of weird, and we're just not going to work on those. You're going to be left with still a big pile. So what I recommend is you pick through all of these and find the ones that are in the absolute best shape. You're going to need a flat flag, and then you're going to need some where the flag turns to the left, like that one, and they're going to be curved. Pick out a medium one and a large one, and then pick some like this one where the flag turns to the right. Again, medium one and a deep one. And all the rest of the picks, just set them aside. We're not even going to work on them. So right away, we've cut our time in half. Well, guys, this is what I ended up with. This kit had a lot of duplicates in it. I don't know why, and I was actually missing a flat flag, but we'll make do. So these are the two that I picked for my left curving flags. So a very deep one here, and then a standard flag. And of course, we're going to have to do a lot of reshaping on that guy. For my flat flag, I didn't have a lot of choice. I don't have one, so I'm just going to take one of the other flat left flags, and I'm just going to sand him so that he's going to turn into a flat flag. I'll show you that in a minute. In fact, we'll probably start with that guy. And then the two right flags are identical to the left ones. I got a deep one, and then the smaller one that all need quite a bit of shaping. And speaking of shaping, let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to start with my flat flag, and let's go ahead and clamp them up in the vise and put some guys, first thing you want to do is probably remove the handles. This is my flat flag I'm going to start with, and the best way to remove the handles is to put the tip of it in the vise, just clamp it down, and then pull the handle right off. It's really that easy. Set it aside, and now we're going to start with the back of this ugly thing. You notice it's very squared, got a lot of markings on there. We're going to take all of those off. So clamp it up in your vise, put it in there pretty tight, and we're going to begin working right there. The first thing I'm going to do is take some 220 sandpaper, and this is why we cut it into strips. Just put that on there like that, and start going back and forth to round off the edge and begin thinning out the shaft and get it in the shape that we need it to be in. Okay, now both sides of that shaft are perfect. So we're really, I'm less than 5 minutes into this. Now we got to take a look at this tip. Now this is supposed to be a flat flag. Obviously it's not. I'm going to have to sand this part off to turn this into a flat flag. And the way I'm going to do that is just get a piece of sandpaper, put it on top of ice, and just rub this guy back and forth to flatten it out. Well guys, I'm only, unbelievably, only about 30 minutes into this. It really didn't take long to round off all the edges. Now we got to take a look at these tips. Now we have 2 lefts. We got 2 rights, and there's the one that's already done the flat flag. These take just a little bit more attention. Now, when I take the ugliest one here, the first thing I notice is that this flag is really too wide. It'll probably snag up on 2 pins at once. So I'm going to basically sand off of the end of it there to narrow that down. Alright guys, I went ahead and did both of them at the same time, left and right, and that's kind of what you're looking for. That way you know you're only going to hit 1 pin. Now's the next part. You notice inside of there, let me put this guy down. You notice right here, if I can get the camera to focus, let me turn it around just a little bit. There's a sharp edge right there where my fingernail is. Well, locks hate sharp edges. They always get snagged up. They give us false feedback. So we really need to round that off. And the best way to do it is to take that dollar file I showed you about, put it in a vise, and then just use your file back and forth to remove that sharp edge. So let me go ahead and do that and we'll take a look. Alright guys, notice that that little squared off edge on both of these are gone. I still got some filing marks there. So all I'm going to do now is take my file basically and wrap some sandpaper around. This is a probe, but it'll work just the same. And then that'll allow me to kind of get up into that tight spot and file out those markings. So go ahead and do that to get it polished up, put it back in the handles, and we'll be ready to go. Well guys, I got to tell you, I've been in this an hour and a half. I even took 5 minutes to wash my hands so I wouldn't offend anybody. I came out with the 5 picks that I think are necessary to pick dimple locks. I've got both left and right deep flags, left and right medium or light flags, and then a straight flag. They came out really nice. I think they're definitely comparable to the Spooks kit in terms of finish. Everything is rounded off, everything is shaped correctly, all the shafts are thinned, and I got a pretty high gloss finish on this thing. It really came out nice. The nice thing about this though is I have all the picks that I need to pick dimple locks, and I got a bunch of extras too. I mean, we'll never use these on the left, but all of these in that Goso kit for the most part are duplicates. So if I ever break or bend one of my primary picks, I fall back in here and I got some extras. So that's the difference. $29.95 for all of this plus an hour and a half or 2 hours of your time, or $150 for this and none of your time. Your choice, guys. There you go. The improved Goso Basic Foundation Kit. Everybody, thanks for your time. Stay safe. Stay legal.